5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And liftoff. Liftoff of Kara Nyberg, Fyodor Yurshkin, and Luca Parmitano on a 6-hour ride to the International Space Station.
This is the first of the young generation of astronauts, so we are changing of generation, and that is certainly something important for ESA, because we are preparing the future with this new class of astronaut.
So he's now just 40 meters away from the International Space Station docking port. Contact confirmed. We have an initial docking of the Soyuz 35 spacecraft carrying Commander Fyodor Yurshkin, NASA astronaut Kara Nyberg, and European Space Agency astronaut Luca Parmitano with the International Space Station.
I hope that you had fun watching our launch. We certainly did. I'll talk to you soon. But it feels like a lot of water. I feel a lot of water on the back of my head, but I don't think it's leaked from my back. Are you sweating? You working hard? I am sweating, but it feels like a lot of water. I see it now, wiggling.
All right, Chris and Luca, just for you guys, based on what we heard with Lucas saying that water is in his eyes now and it seems to be increasing, we think we're going to terminate EVA case for EV2. So, Luca, we'll have you head back to the airlock. Chris, we'll get a plan for you to clean things up here and then join him here in a minute.
Hatch is open, Shane.
About half an hour into the EVA, 45 minutes maybe, Chris and I were ahead on our task, so we were starting our third task, and I felt some water on the back of my head, and I realized that it was cold water. It was not a normal feeling, so I told ground, and at that point we called a terminate for the EVA. I started going back to the airlock, and then went inside, and as soon as the two compartments were equalized, they doffed, meaning they took off my helmet, wiped my face from all the water, about 3 pounds of water, I would say, and that was the end of it.
The space station is an incredibly advanced orbital laboratory, and the science that we do on the station cannot be replicated anywhere else. It can only be done on the station, and at any moment on the station we have between 130 and 150 experiments running, and now the crew interacts with about 2/3 of it, so we will be dealing with installing, repairing, or following about 100 experiments, and on these probably a good 20% or more are physiology experiments where we are the science, that we are the objects of the science, and we perform the experiments on ourselves.
During my expedition, I was extremely lucky. In about 6 months, we had 3 visiting vehicles, 3 very different ones. One of them is ATV, the European Automatic Transport Vehicle, and it brought an incredible amount of material supplies. At the same time, we also had HTV Kunotori 4, the Japanese vehicle. And then recently, we had a pretty historic moment when the second of the commercial vehicle, Cygnus, arrived on the station, and I was the operator at the robotic arm to grapple it. The machine behaved beautifully, it was very stable, and I was lucky enough to be able to grapple it and then release it a couple of weeks later after we emptied it of its content. One of the places that we like the best here on the space station, and I'm not talking only about myself but all astronauts, is certainly Cupola, our window on the Earth. It's beautiful for many reasons. It offers a 360 degrees view on our planet, which is a beautiful sight and incredibly humbling. But at the same time, it offers us the possibility to take pictures that otherwise we wouldn't be able to take. And we have the luxury of flying over the ocean and over land, covering most of the lands that are on our planet. We can take pictures of places that are really far away that we would never see otherwise, and including things that happen on that very moment, like eruptions. Only a few days ago, we were able to capture an eruption of Mount Etna in Sicily, in southern Italy, and that was a fantastic opportunity for us to see it happening and for people on the ground to have a first-hand view of what is happening on the ground. And the scientists are very excited to get our pictures. They can see how our land changes because of natural occurrences or the interventions of the humans, and how these changes develop through the years.
You can see the Soyuz spacecraft drifting away from the International Space Station against the limb of the Earth, continuing its opening rate toward a distance eventually of about 12 kilometers or 7.5 miles away from the station for the deorbit burn. And that video now back, a great view of the Soyuz TMA-09M spacecraft with Fyodor Yurchikhin, Karen Nyberg, and Luca Parmitano in the descent module, beginning the trek home to wrap up their 5.5 months in space. Flight controllers standing by for touchdown. You see the ground beneath the Soyuz. And there he is, Luca Parmitano, with a big thumbs up, carried out of the Soyuz spacecraft to his chair. And a wave to the crowd from Luca Parmitano from the European Space Agency, completing his first flight into space, 166 days in orbit in his journey along with his crewmates.